Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Just going to do a quick audio test before we start. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. We're here in a, well, partially cloudy, I believe, Glasgow, Glasgow Prestwick Airport. It is no, it's just Glasgow International, ignore all of that. We're here in Glasgow, and we're here in the Kenardo ATR 7V2. Now, I got this plane quite a while ago. And I never really flew it because it was quite laggy, as you can maybe see, has a pretty fully detailed interior, which does, I think that's the cause of the lag, I'm not totally sure, but it doesn't seem, it always seems quite laggy no matter what you do, so just bear that in mind. We may have some slightly choppy FPS, however on this new PC it has been a little bit better, so we'll hope for that. Anyway, we're now going to go ahead and connect ourselves onto Vatsim. So, Skyways 4224, and we are an ATR 72, whatever the code for that with this aircraft is. I think it's AT75 or 76. I don't know which variant we are. I think we're a 76. So, I'll go ahead and put that in. And there we go. File that. Okay, so you can see the bottom corner, this is the first time I've used this aircraft on Iraq 2011. So, this being a Kenardo aircraft, you just need to wait for it to port in the database. So, we can't use the plane until that happens. So, we're just kind of sitting here waiting while that happens. Meanwhile, we're going to get our weights in. Now, this is how Kenardo do it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but you have to do all of your weights through the flight sim. So, in our case, obviously FSX. So, I need to go to fuel and payload like a default aircraft. I'm not the biggest fan, but there you go. So we're taking 2,000, I forgot to convert it to pounds as well, so 2321 kilos to pounds. We're taking 5,100 pounds, so it's going to be 2,550 in both tanks. And yes, this is how you have to do it. Actually, it's 2,557 in both tanks. Just to make it a little bit more exact. There we go. We're only about £5 short because of how FSX does it. Great. Okay, and then payload. So payload, we're looking for 61 passengers. So that's 61 times 170. That's how Fly UK calculates it. That's 10,370 pounds, not kilos as it's written there. Bags are, well, bags we have, I believe, 700 kilograms, so let's go ahead and calculate that now. 700 kilograms, that is £1,500, so we'll put 750 in both. £1,500, so yeah, 750 in both. Forward and back, just to even it out. There we go. And everything's looking nice. Okay, so go ahead and click OK on that. Everything's boarded. The Navgraph database is in. Go inside the cockpit, which is a little laggy. I apologise. It's just, as I said, it's just this plane. it doesn't seem to run particularly well, but there we go. So, we need to get our batteries turned on, so... I have not flown this plane for about a month, so I'm a little bit rusty, but it should be... I thought it was up here. I'm looking for like maybe a lit light for the, Actually, the external power should be turned on. You manage... There you go, we can manage external services from here. I thought you could manage it from there, never mind. So what we want to do is go ahead and just turn on... There you go, there's battery stuff, so it's going to be here, I think. That's emergency. Apologise for this. It's not that, no. Possibly there's like a little battery switch. There you go, is that it? I'm positive there was a battery switch. I'll switch to the upper panel, and that'll allow me to see better. There we go. Just couldn't see it. There we go. So the plane is now powering into life. So we're just gonna... There we go. Just gonna flick through that. Plane is now online, and we can go and just check that the latest nav database is in there. It is great. So we're gonna head to position in it. This thing I don't believe has any kind of... Also, yeah, we'll put the parking brake on because I can't see the FMC otherwise. And we'll also hide the yoke. Okay, now weights are in. We're going to go ahead and request boarding from GSX. This will put the lag again. So 61 passengers we have today. Going to use Menzies for our planning today. And I will also just check what runway they are using down here in Glasgow with the help of Flight Radar 24. So EGPF, put that in there. Right, what was the last plane to land? Great, there was an Embraer that landed just 2 minutes ago. So that is awesome. That is some proper good. Okay, let's have a look. That used... Oh, the tracking ran out. The thing stopped tracking at 3,600 feet, so that's not helpful. Is there one that didn't stop tracking before it landed? Because that sometimes happens with Flight Radar. I think it's like a lesser known airport. Okay, there's one that landed. There's one that's just landed, so let's check that one as well. It's the British Airways. There we go, that one was fully tracked. Alright. Yep, so we're using the correct runway 23. Alright, let's get everything set up. GSX should have started now. It's Shift and E. So open the doors, and it just opens all the doors. Right, E, G, P, F is where we are right now. I'm getting used to this keyboard. It's a different keyboard to the ones I'm used to. And on we go. So EGPF, and we're heading down to ENBR, Bergen. 405 miles. It's about 450 by the time we're done today. Press B as well, make sure the altimeter is set correctly. And, well, okay, now I've done that, let's get on with our route. So, departing out of runway 23 today, we're going to be taking the Perth 4 Alpha. So, looking for, there you go, Perth 4 Alpha. Not to be confused with Perth in Australia, Perth in Scotland. And there we go. And we're taking that to Perth. Obviously, so you just need to put that in PTH, which is where we're taking it to. I think that's what we're supposed to put in anyway, to Perth. And then from Perth, we're going on UP 600 to ADN, onto UZ107, UZ107. How are they boarding complete already? That's a set. Is that a setting that I have? It must be a setting. They're not done that quickly. I think no, that's set correctly now. 1 time per passenger. I changed it, so that's correct. 1 second per passenger, like one amount per passenger. That's like the realistic amount. I guess it is only 60 passengers, isn't it? So it doesn't take very long to Berep, and this thing doesn't have any cargo that goes on board either, I don't believe. So we'll just go ahead and shut the doors then. We can get out of here quite quickly. That is kind of a thing about this a smaller plane. They do not take very long to load. Right, Z309 to Modney. that's it, actually. It's quite a short route today because it's over the North Sea, so there's not many waypoints over the North Sea. So we'll just go ahead and put that in. And there we go. That is our route for today. Right, arriving then. We're going to be arriving on ILS 17, I believe. I will just check the weather down there. It's quite nice, actually, down there. It is 120 at 7 knots. It's partly cloudy, so not too bad. 7 degrees, which is not bad for Norway. So ILS Whiskey 17 we're taking with the Napalm transition, and it's going to be the Modney to November. So there it is. Execute that, and we'll just check our route through now. Go legs, and you can see it there. All the way through. Excellent. And also, one key thing just to note, this thing doesn't put in your cruise altitude the way you do it. So our cruising altitude today is 21,000. And you basically just take that and copy it to every waypoint that has a cruising altitude icon on it. There we go. Great. Okay, and also, one thing to note as well, unlike a lot of restrictions around here, the actual altitude restriction ends at Alban. We've got to be at 6,000 at Alban, and then from there it ends, so I can delete the restriction, which doesn't do anything. Okay, so we'll just put slash 21,000 in those. Okay, it doesn't really matter. This thing doesn't have VNAV, so it doesn't matter what we put in, to be honest. Okay, performance pages don't actually do anything, so that's that. I don't know whether we've got a takeoff calculator of any kind. Why is that? Okay, we need to get the avionics turned on. We can do that. Now, this is quite a simple plane. Generally, if something is illuminated, that means bad. We want it to be not illuminated. That's generally how it works in this aircraft. It's like a lot of Airbus aircraft. Just basically anything that is illuminated, push it, and then you're good. Apart from the engine bleeds, I like to leave those off with engine start. At least in the Boeing, you tend to do that. That's why our avionics need to be turned on. However, I don't actually see a control for avionics up here. I'd assume it would be illuminated, right? I mean, if it was... Right? I mean... Or maybe not. I just assumed avionics controls would be by there. Maybe they're not. Put the armrest up as well. Yeah, there's a few things that aren't turned on that I'd like them to, that I would obviously like to be turned on. Let's go back to the overhead panel. Because again, it's quite hard to see everything on this plane unless you go into the overhead panel. That might give us a bit of a better look at things. There you go. Seatbelt signs on. No smoking signs on. Well, I guess beacon can go on. It's already on, okay. Nav lights can also come on. Wow. Yeah, I don't see anything about avionics here. I just assumed it would be up here, but maybe it's not. Here? Nope. Not there. That's back in... Okay, I know this is looking a bit stupid of me. I haven't really, learned how to fly this thing. Right, I've gone back through the wrong... things. Right, yeah, this is weird. There's absolutely no button about avionics. Is that a bit weird or not? I have a feeling like there should be a button somewhere around here that I'm just being stupid and missing. I assumed it would be round here, but it's definitely not, because that's... Let's go through. Oh, hey guys, I saw avionics then. Nope. Avionics vent. Oh, so I don't know if that's something to do with avionics. Surely stuff on this panel is also to do with avionics. We want engine bleeds on, actually, for the engine start. And fuel pumps, want them on too. But I don't see any button for avionics. There's literally no button. Is there a button on the side that I have to turn on? No. I'm positive there's just a little switch or something you could flick and it turned on. Oh dear. 15 minutes into the stream and I'm like, yeah, this isn't great, is it? I thought it might have been somewhere down that bottom control panel, but it's not there either. So generally, if something's illuminated in this plane, you know it's bad. And there's nothing illuminated, so it's kind of a little bit confusing. Now, we could cheat and just put it in a new state. You can put it into taxi state and things, but that thing is, that screen down there is working. So that suggests that we have obviously got avionic power, yeah? Otherwise that wouldn't be working, of course. We want our nav turned on. Hang a minute, I think it's round here, you know. I think it may be round this panel. Right, let's get this panel set up, actually. Yaw damper on. And we want IAS hold. No, sorry, nav first. What? Okay, the nav button's not working. So definitely something's not set up correctly. I know this looks a bit stupid, but... oh my word. How have I forgotten how to fly this thing? And it hasn't even been very long. Well... right. So these are all the controls, look, of the main bit. I remember that. So you've got all of the switches and things here. Is it something to do with this on the bottom, maybe? That's the weather radar. So we'll get the weather radar onto weather mode. But yeah, there's definitely something to do with these not being turned on. Also... yeah, I thought the avionics might have been somewhere here, look. Hang on, is it a brightness thing? Is the brightness just turned down? I doubt that. How to turn on avionics. ATR 72. Generally not anywhere, is it? No. It's quite hard to find things like that just suddenly. So that's... okay, so I understand what's going on here. That's the engine controls there you're looking at. I just find it a bit odd. I'm positive it was somewhere around here. You know, just somewhere. Because there's definitely stuff that's not powered up. You can see it. Not powered up, but I'm positive there's a little switch that you flick. I bet it's really obvious as well. I bet it's obvious. So that they're not working, look. So there's clearly something a little bit odd. These buttons aren't clickable for some reason. That's a bit worrying. Okay, so that's how you turn them on. You just flick it to on. But that's flicked on to on, look, and it doesn't do anything. Look, these things are flicked on, look. Is there just no power to the aircraft? I know we don't have external power, but I don't actually know how to get external power. I don't suppose that works, does it? No. There's no ground services that I can do, is there? I don't think there's any ground services. I'd like to get external power, but I don't think. Because I know we haven't got external power right now. What if I flick that on? Tow car and static elements. Does that give me external power? Oh! Wait, hang a minute. External power just turned on, even though I don't have any. It made a sound, but nothing happened. This is worrying. Unless the plane's broken. But external power is not available. I don't know how to get external power available. It's not there, look. You can see it's not there. Right. You know what? Let's just go. Let's just hope that when we power up the engines, everything will be okay. I'm not going to spend any more time. I've already spent 5 minutes doing this. I just want to go now. I'm not faffing around with this any longer. The radios are working, at least. Actually, the radios aren't working. That's what I mean, though. The radios aren't working. Like, that's quite an important thing.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
But that's the thing. The aircraft doesn't have full power. It definitely doesn't have full power. However, the battery is on as much as it can be on. So it's not that. I'm positive it's a little switch, isn't it? It'd just be a little switch somewhere that gives the avionics power. However, I don't know where that switch is. Like, I'm positive it should be somewhere around here. Or just a little button that's not illuminated, or just something, you know? But there's no button. I do not see any button that is illuminated, or any button that says avionics, even. Half this stuff's not even clickable. Right, left.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push.
Let's just hope the engines start.
All engines clear.
So start A, and then you press start 1, and then you start to introduce fuel. Actually, for some reason, the levers there, I don't know what they're doing. Why is... Okay, so is our engine going to start at least? There we go. So our engine is starting, yeah? So the aircraft has enough power to start its engines. So... Right, and that's good. So we want to start engine 2 now, look. I think I'm doing it the wrong way round. But there you go, introduce fuel, look, and then the plane starts up. So that's working. So the plane has power, definitely, because without power you can't start engines. So... What is it I'm missing?
Set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
So engines are good, yeah? And we're on engine power. The plane should be fully charged. So it's definitely a switch. That's certain now. I bet this switch is really obvious as well. I bet it's just like a really... I bet it's just something round here that's really obvious. And I'm just missing. Right, let's do a flow check. So let's go right from... This has got quite a good way to be organised. So go right from the top to the bottom. So none of this. Flight controls. That's auto. That's not... That's all good. Doors, all good. Fuel, all good. Calls and lights and things, they're all working. Electric power. Batteries turned on. Battery is selected on main. All this is working. External power is off because there's no external power. Engine start, that's all good. External lights, taxi lights are on. No smoking and seatbelt signs are good. Fuel is good. Anti-icing is good. Windshield heating is on. Aircraft electric power is all good. Hydraulic power is good. Yeah, this is all fine. Oxygen is all fine. There's nothing about avionics on there. So it must be somewhere else. So it must be... So here, look. Nothing. That's all about switches and all the rest of it. It's not there. This panel here, we haven't got anything there. That's all turned on, look. And that's all on RNAV mode. Map mode, we've already turned that on. QNH is set correctly. This button doesn't do anything. This stuff, recall check, look, nothing coming back. These buttons aren't really clickable. Hello in the chat. That isn't going to help us anything there either. None of that stuff over there. So this is what I mean. It's like, well, hang on a minute. I've pressed everything. I thought it might have been something to do with this panel, but that panel ain't working either. Which again is a bit weird. Hang on a minute. Why is the altitude select not working either? I'm positive there was a little altitude. There's the altitude, look. So the altitude's working. Right. You know what? Right, let's just get this into... let's get this into a mode that allows us to fly it, and then I'll try and advise what it did. So ready for taxi. Done. Okay, everything is now suddenly working. So what did it do? What did it do? This is what I'm interested in now. So nav is now working. So it's something I must have been able to do before. This is all set as it was when I left it. This is all set as it was when I left it as well. Yeah, this is all set as it was when I left it, yeah? So up here, I just want to learn how to fly this thing again, you know? I don't want to... What on earth? What was that sound? Leak? Great. Yeah, look, this is all set as it was. None of this has been done. All of this is exactly how I left it. Yeah? So I'm trying to figure out what it is that it's done. What has it actually done? Because it's not done anything. All of this is set exactly how I set it up. Also, the engine is going funny. I don't know what's going on with that. But everything is set as I did it. So, yeah, the weather's all set as I left it. So I don't know what it's done to make the avionics come on. Like, it must be a button that I've just missed. Well, anyway, let's get on with the flight. Let's ignore this trouble. And yeah, you can see, look, this is all fired up now. So we can get on to Unicom. I'm positive just going on to... And this thing doesn't have an APU, does it? I don't think it has an APU. And the batteries... So that's the thing, it's definitely a power-related thing. All of that's working. They're just the same buttons that were illuminated before. Transponder is now working. This is what I mean. This is really weird. You know? All the power is set to auto as I left it. Parking brake is set to how I left it. I was just testing the takeoff config. This is what I mean. What have I done? What has it done? It hasn't done anything. Anyway, let's get on with our flight then. Before I get even more confused with what it's actually done. Yeah, let's go. Got no ATC. I'm just a very confused person now. Okay. Right, take off. We're going to set takeoff power there on our little thing. Okay. Well, we're moving. I'm just very, very, very confused. Just change the range on that screen there. Okay, right, away we go. I don't know what it did. I really don't know what it did. Right, runway 23. So it's going to be straight ahead taxi here and then straight down Alpha all the way. This thing is a very fast taxi, but it looks fast. It isn't actually fast. It's weird though, because it's only been just under a month since I've flown this plane. So I shouldn't have forgotten how to fly it. But you know. We're moving now, so there's no worry. Apart from the fact that I am massively confused. Because it has not... Look, it's not done anything. It's done nothing. Like, the battery is in the same place. Everything is still as I left it. It's not changed anything. Battery supply is still on main. The lights are still as I left them, so I don't know... What's it done? What's it actually done? Unless it's a bug. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It's a Leonardo aircraft, but they're very common. So it's surprisingly common that you do get bugs in these aircraft, but... Right, we'll set flaps 5 for takeoff as well. I'm just a bit confused, to be honest. Anyway, that aside, let's get on with the flight. Yeah. Has just left me a teeny bit confused. That all of a sudden, the plane just decided no, it didn't want to work. Oh well. Right. Landing lights on, takeoff lights. There you go, yeah, landing lights, takeoff lights. And it's going to be an IAS climb on 180 knots, actually about 200 knots, say 200. It's 200 initially, and then about 170 after a bit. We'll say 190, go on. I'm going to go back and look at this again, yeah? I'm going to look at this thing again. This isn't our runway, by the way. I'm going to look at the stream again after I finish. I'm going to look at what was different between me and the plane setting things up, because I didn't see anything different. Right, everything's set up for takeoff. All of this, look, is set exactly the same. You know, nothing's been changed, so I don't understand what it's done. Like, what has it actually done, you know? I know that this looks really quickly. This looks really quick. We're only doing 16 knots, so we're not going that quick, if anyone thinks we are. It just looks really fast in this plane, I don't know why. I don't know whether its ground speed calculations are wrong. Maybe, because I know it looks a lot quicker than what it says. Anyway, I've got to start out of the way then. I'd rather not have to do that every time I fly this plane, but it's just so weird. Didn't do anything. Right, anyway. Oh, let's turn here, go on. Let's turn here, because the other one is beyond the runway threshold. There's no point going full length. Now, nothing is approaching, I don't believe. Let's just do a quick check. Nope, nothing is approaching. Just checked on there. Now, it is in the right mode. However, I can't see what we're doing. I can't actually see it, so I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe the range needs to be higher. If I turn, we should be able to see our route now. There we go. Right, what's our range then? Let's just have a look at the range on the thing before we set off. So our range on here is not much. There we go. Okay, everything's set up. Let's go. And I believe that's the correct power setting. Yeah, 90%. It's got it set already. Airspeed's live down there. Why have we gone 70% throttle all of a sudden? What's that about? Our speed is rising in accordance with that bar though. Right, there's 90 knots. I think actually that was supposed to be V1 maybe. I wasn't supposed to set V1. Oh well. 100 knots. Guess we can rotate now, I think. No. We're at 120 knots. This thing should be able to rotate now. Yes, there we go. It's rotating now. And then if this thing didn't set power correctly. And in the air, gear up. This thing did not set its power correctly. Hello in the chat. Right, let's get the autopilot in. And we're going to climb power now. And what happens, I should be able to lock it. There. And it should use as much power as it's got, right? That's what it should do. And it is, I think. I think we are doing that nicely now. Okay. Right, oh, the lights were automatically switched off. Nice. Sure, airspeed's rising nicely. Let's go ahead and track the flaps now so we can gain a bit more speed. This thing does not climb very quickly, so don't expect that. It's not a quick aircraft, really. Yeah, actually, maybe. Funny. Anyway, let's let this thing gain a bit of speed now. It is, so we should start climbing a bit quicker. Obviously, we need to be at 6,000 in time for Alban. That is a restriction. We have to be at 6,000. So hopefully this thing can climb quick enough for that. Once it decides to get... It's at 190 knots now, so it should start to pick up the climb. However, it isn't. There we go. It is now. This thing is a bit of a slow climber, but it's now at the correct speed, so it should just start to climb. Now, I have no idea what happened with that, though. With the avionics not twitching at the start. Yeah, it's got full power. Autopilot's in.
Wind shear.
What?
Wind shear.
Wind shear?
Wind shear. Wind shear.
The wind's not
Wind
that
shear.
bad. That's when the wind changes direction a lot. Well, let's keep an eye on the wind then. That's it there. We'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it is typical Scottish weather, I guess, but there we go. Right, the weather radar is turned on. And let's increase our range a little bit on there so we can see exactly what the plane's doing. It is climbing at a pretty nice 1,500 feet per minute now, so that's good. And at the moment, no ATC at the moment. I don't think we'll get anything from Edinburgh approach, so there we go. Into the cloud we go now. And we are above 2,500 by this waypoint, which is what we needed. We're just coming up to it now. We're at 190 knots, so this thing, we're going to go down to 180. That's going to hopefully encourage it to climb a bit quicker. It's not a quick climber, this plane, let's just say that. There we go. Safely climbing. We need to be at 6,000 really for Alban though. That is maybe a bit difficult. I don't know. Right, let's go ahead and turn off. Let's go ground speed. Time to go. Actually, no, we'll keep ground speed on for now. So we've only got like 2 miles until Alban, and we're not at 6,000, which is maybe not the best. But I guess we'll have to ignore that, won't we? Because this thing is sadly, this is the only SID we've got out of this end of Glasgow, so it's kind of, whoa, plane getting chucked around a bit. This thing just doesn't climb enough. It's how it climbs, this plane, but it doesn't, even though it's clearly got enough speed to pitch up more, it just doesn't. Oh, there we go. We've got 4 miles till Alban. That's a bit better. Let's pitch it back to 170 now, which is average climb speed for this thing, just to try and get maximum climb out of it. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, I'll think about making a Discord for the channel. I don't know how popular it'd be. Right, there you go, now I've decreased the speed, look, to proper climb speed. This thing is now climbing nicely. We're safely above all the clouds, which is obviously the most important thing. We're now going to let it go past 6,000 as well. Because we're easily not going to hit that restriction now, are we? So, altitude, straight up to our cruising altitude today, we're over 21,000 feet. And there we go, we're much more steady now, so this thing's able to climb a bit better. So we're at max power now, so it should just climb pretty nicely. Right, let's have a little look at our performance. You can see there, look. It tells you about the fuel usage. And yeah, the parking brake being there is most annoying. Actually, let's just use the other one. So we can see, look there, fuel required, look. So you've got our estimated time of arrival to do 405 nautical miles. That's not accurate. It's 1 hour and 44 minutes, but it's not accurate, basically. And that's at that ground speed and going direct, of course. So, I don't know whether this thinks we won't have enough fuel. Our reserves are only, I think our reserves are about that much. We'll see how much fuel we're using later on. So you can see we've just passed Alban. We're a little bit lower than maybe it would be nice to be. But we can't really change that. This thing is just a very slow climber in general. So, you know, sorry about that. Once we're up to 6,000, I can go standard pressure anyway. Is this thing going to actually climb? Why is it not climbing? It's literally not climbing. Yeah, this plane is slow. I'm giving it absolute maximum power, so I don't really understand what its issue is. I guess we'll have to stick. So average climb speed for this thing is meant to be 170 knots, however I just hate going that slowly. But I think we'll have to with this plane. There's no altitude restrictions now, so we're good. I know, yeah, we're 21,000, I guess, is the quickest. That's what SimBrief brought up anyway. So, that's what I'm going with. Right, there is 6,000. Let's go standard pressure, which isn't happening. There we go. We'll just, I thought if I just click, normally if you press it, it just works. There you go, 2992 and 1013, that's standard pressure. And I have to do that for all of them now as well. There's that one there. That one's already set, okay. Because pressing B didn't set that. I guess they're linked, aren't they? maybe. And then I'm positive there's another one. There it is. There we go. And right-clicking that one does set it to standard. So we're climbing now. And up we climb. Very, very slowly climb. Just 1,000 feet per minute. But that's... I mean, really, this thing could climb quicker because I've told it to maintain 170 knots. And we're doing 190. So it could easily do that. Right, let's bring up time to go now on here. Time to go to the next waypoint, and then put up the distance as well. Average mileage track to Perth is 68 miles, so if I bring it up like that, that's about a 40-mile range. Look, let's go an 80-mile range because there's not many gaps between waypoints. Also, let's go direct to Perth. No, let's go direct to D035T because it hasn't highlighted it. It thinks we haven't passed that waypoint for some reason. I just want to make sure it knows that we have. And to do anything on the FMC, I need to put the parking brake on, which I know is a bit silly. And there we go. So this thing should now know where we are in the route properly. Wait, what? Hello? Plane, what are you doing? It's steering right. Okay. Okay. We'll just ignore that it's doing that. We'll steer back onto the path ourselves, I guess. Why do I fly these Kenardo planes? Why do I do it? Right, autopilot back in. What's it doing? Right, seriously? What's going on? Right, autopilot... Right, ALNAV disengage, autopilot in, and we'll do that for altitude. We'll get it to do altitude. What is this plane doing? Like, what is it actually doing? So, I have a feeling that's something to do with me saying it to go direct. Now, obviously, that shouldn't do anything. Now, for some reason, okay, so I'm going to tell it to go direct to Perth, yeah? And hopefully, that will work. So put back in ALNAV, and it should turn left. Yes, yeah, there we go. What is wrong with this plane? Right, line lights off. I'm going to put the seatbelt signs off as well, why not? Yeah, this is a bit weird. There we go, so it's working now. I have no idea what it was doing then, to be honest. We'll just, I don't know, why do I fly these aircraft? These Kenardo ones, they are often a bit buggy. I mean, so far we've had, I'm not sure whether it's my fault or not, but the plane not powering up. I know there are a few bugs with the systems in this aircraft, because multiple times I've had it where the ILS doesn't capture properly, and then I do another flight and I do exactly the same thing, and the ILS captures fine. So maybe again, the avionics thing may have been a bug. I do experience them quite frequently with this plane. I just chose to fly this plane today because I thought, oh, it'd be nice to do something a bit different, but yeah. Maybe different's a bad idea. I don't know. Do wonder. Anyway, hopefully this thing can climb pretty well now. It's gone down to 94% now, I don't know why. You're supposed to lock it in its position, that little white thing there, that's where you're supposed to lock the throttle. And it does it according to what you select. So obviously I've got climb power selected right now. Yeah, this thing is doing 200 knots, look, so telling it to do 170 should make it climb really quickly, but it's still climbing really slowly. Weird. Anyway, we're nice and steady now. I don't know what's wrong with this plane, if I'm honest. I have trouble working it out. But there we go. Up we climb. No ATC today, unfortunately. Nothing's heading for Bergen either. There we go. Up we go then. Climbing nicely, and we're calm. Man, this plane sometimes, it's annoying. Very, very annoying. Right, I want to find out though what the plane did to get the avionics turned on. Like seriously, none of these buttons were clicked. Look, none of them. So it must be a bug, but I don't see why it would be. Because nothing was pressed up here, look. Nothing. Unless it was down here. Which it isn't. Anyway, this thing is climbing like a snail, as it usually... Oh, rip, I accidentally... I forget, if you press B, because it's in the game, the thing is still... There we go, I forget, yeah, in the game, the altimeter is still not standard because of the pressure. It's 18,000 in FSX everywhere, which obviously isn't the case in real life. But yeah, I don't know, next time we're in FSX, I think we'll just fly 737 or something, you know. I was thinking about getting something set up in on-air company, maybe. And flying that, like making a bit of kind of like our own thing. Maybe set up a virtual airline, you know? That's what I was kind of thinking. Anyway, we're climbing up nicely now. Looks very nice outside, actually. It's become minus temperature outside, and there we go. So this is very nice now. We can just chill out. Got some large gas twin waypoints later on in the route. Obviously, we don't need to go calculating top of descent or anything like that for a bit. We can just chill out and, you know, get a break from this stupid plane. I don't know why we're climbing so slowly either, because we really shouldn't be. We're doing 210 knots, and I've told it to do 170. So it should be climbing a whole lot quicker, and yet it isn't. I don't know why. But there you go. That's this plane for you. It's being very strange today. It's in a strange mood. I'm looking around for possible things that it could have clicked for avionics. I don't suppose it was anything on here, was it? No. Well, if I look at this, look, let's have a look at the 2D panels to see if there's something I may have missed on the 3D panels. Nope. That's what I mean. It's like, hang a minute. I've not missed anything. Well, weird. Right, only 5,000 feet now until cruise. Obviously no contrail on this thing. Obviously. But yeah, it's a cool plane, this, though. It is a nice plane to fly. I do think, though, that issue with the avionics, it must have been me. I just don't see it being the game. Like, because, you know, obviously I haven't flown this plane for a little bit, so it kind of does say that maybe it was me. But I said it is weird, because I don't think the game did anything. Like, I didn't see anything that the game did when I selected a new state. I changed it to taxi state and nothing happened. You know, like, it didn't press any buttons. Why is our plane turning the other way? It's one that annoys me. If you just select something different on the main screen, it changes its mind about something. Right, we've just passed the Perth VOR, so next waypoint now is Aberdeen, and then from there we'll be crossing the North Sea. So, and look, it hasn't selected the next waypoint, look. This is what it keeps doing all the time. So I have to tell it direct to the next waypoint. Where's ADN? Why is ADN not a waypoint on there now? If I go direct to it, it doesn't exist. That's weird. That's really weird. I don't know what's going on with this plane. We're just going to ignore that. Right, we're almost up at cruise altitude now. Weather down Bergen's pretty nice, 120 at only 6 knots, standard pressure down there actually, so it's pretty calm down there. Good, we're almost at cruise altitude. This thing's a joke when it comes to climbing. And then we can put it in cruise power and we can sit back and relax. And we'll just make sure that obviously we have got enough fuel as well. It's probably a good thing. Well, we can control things like that on here, actually. The radios and things. If you look at arrival data, it tells us a lot of stuff about the arrival and the frequency of the arrival. That's quite cool. Right, passing 19,000 feet now, so just 2,000 feet to go. Let's make sure the weather radar is on now, actually. I think I can trust it this time. It is turned on, actually, because it says there. But if we turn it on to test, look, we know it's on, so the weather radar is turned on. Right, make sure the heading is set in our current direction as well. There we go, it's actually 11 minutes until that next bit. Now, our cruise speed for today, I believe it's about 270 knots true airspeed. I can have a little look on our flight plan. 266 knots is our planned true airspeed for today's flight. So we'll see what that gets us later on. Once we're at cruise, that is. This thing is climbing like an absolute snail this last 1,000 feet. That does happen in this plane. There is the little altitude horn. I'll just set the ILS frequency in standby. I think that's the ILS frequency according to the FMC. It is anyway. Might not be right. I'm going to watch the tutorial for this plane again, though, definitely, because I think I may have done something wrong. Although it does seem weird. I fly quite a bit. You know, I said a month ago I did quite a few flights in it, so it's not really been that long. It might not have even been a month. I'll check now. I can check on my logbook for Fly UK. I don't think it's been that long. It has been about a month. It's been like 3 weeks, so it's not long since I've flown it. Right, we're basically at cruise now, which is good. Our speed's picking up a bit though, our ground speed, where the wind is in our favour greatly, which is nice. And we're at cruise altitude. There we go, look. Slowly, slowly. This is what this plane's like. It's really irritating. Slowly. Even more slowly. And there we go. And we can go now to cruise power. And this thing will just keep itself in cruise power mode now. What's it doing? This is like the autopilot on the new flight sim. It can't stay at it can't stay at one altitude. What's going on? This is highly weird. Right, there you go, altitude mode. I've enabled altitude mode. There. 21,000. We should be good now. I think we're good. There you go. It's just this plane being a bit strange. There we go. Don't know what's going on today. And there we go. We can now see our speed rise. As I said, we're looking for about 270 knots on the true airspeed. And I'm not going to interfere with the power settings because it is just incline power. No, not climb power, sorry, cruise power, which is set automatically by the plane. And you can see there we are. So if I have a look now at our fuel, we should see, if I go to, I think it's Perth, there we go. And we can now see, look, time to reserve, there you go, range to reserve fuel, 520 miles. So we're absolutely fine on fuel. And you can see there, about 270 knots we are now doing. So that is perfect. And the speed, you know, the speed has picked up. So what we're doing in terms of ground speed, calling my overlay, 328 knots. Which is true, yeah, that's very fast. That's because of the wind, obviously. We're getting a pretty much 60 knots, almost direct tailwind. So that's very nice. Obviously, we are over the sea. Actually, no, we're not actually. We're going to be over the sea soon. We're passing the Aberdeen VOR in just 5 minutes, so not too long. Our true airspeed is going a little bit above what we planned. However, as I said, it is just, you know, I've just set this power and then I've let the plane get on with it. That's just how you control this ATR. It's not an auto throttle, but it's almost an auto throttle. It's like a special kind of auto throttle that requires you to do a bit of work. It's a bit strange, but that's kind of one of the only ways I can really describe it. And there we go, 280 knots now this thing, true airspeed. So our ground speed's picking up a ton. We're going very quick for an ATR. 340 knots ground speed. Obviously that is helped by the wind quite a bit. The wind is playing a massive part. Now, in terms of descent, let's have a little look at our arrival into Bergen. So, just grab the charts up for Bergen now. Wow, where's this then? So, they go Modney to November. Let's have a look. So we come in from Modney. We'll be above 9,000 at BR90. At BR634, we've got to be between 8,000 and 4,000. This plane doesn't simulate that. So it'll just say 8,000. And we've also got to be at 220 knots. Why do I have to... I'll type it on here. /8,000. Now again, it doesn't really matter. This thing is generally doing that kind of speed. It's like the Dash 8 that didn't do anything. It's like the Dash 8 where really that's kind of how we're doing things anyway. 633, no restrictions. Erlob has the same restrictions as BR634. And then we head in then from Erlob to Napam. And at Napam we need to be above 4,000. So we're probably going to stay around 8,000 for a bit, and then probably going to start to descend. and then above 3,000, and then the ILS. So that's fine. That's correct. So we want to be, we'll aim. Well, this plane's got it all calculated out, really. There. So you can see we're going to aim basically for 8,000 BR634. That's basically what we're going to aim for. So that means a descent rate of about 1,600 feet per minute, which is what I like to do in this plane. Simply recommend 2,000 feet per minute. No. So 1,600 times, well, we need to drop. How many feet do we need to drop? We need to drop, well, it's going to be 13,000 feet, isn't it? So it's going to be times 13. And that gives us 20... No. I've done that wrong, haven't I? So we need to drop 13,000 feet. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, so I need to figure out how many feet we can drop. So it's... We need to drop 13,000 feet. So that's going to take us about just over 8 minutes. Roughly. So just over 8 minutes. So we want to descend when we're about 8 minutes away from that waypoint. Now, unfortunately, that waypoint is kind of covered by a lot. So we're going to be probably just before BR637 is where we're probably going to think about starting to descend. So we've got a good bit of time then to chill out. Got lots of time. Obviously got all this gap here to Bergen, and then all the gap to Maldini, and then just before then is probably where we're going to start to think about descent. Because 13 times 3 is, so 40 miles, roughly 40 miles out, maybe 35 because it's a propeller plane, and I'm going a bit slower, so about 40 miles-ish away, so that's 5, 15, 30, so about 31 miles, BR637, that's about 31 miles from, no, Maldini is 31 miles away from the restriction, so probably just about maybe 10 miles before Maldini, and maybe, yeah, about that. So we'll have a look at that then. For now, we can just chill out. We're going very quickly now, actually, 344 knots. This thing is going a lot quicker than our true airspeed said would be going. However, as I said, we're just in cruise power, you know. And we've now got half an hour to get to this next waypoint now, over the North Sea. Lots of cloud as well. Lots and lots of cloud. Also, I am interested in the new flight sim. Like, again, maybe doing streams in that. So, guys, let me know if you want to do anything on that game. But as I said, I've just, unfortunately, a lot of things with it just haven't quite been good. They're not really, you know, the fly-by-wire mod hasn't had an update for quite a while at the moment because of, you know, just, I don't know, that's kind of all they've done. It's been about 2 weeks. So they're probably going to bring out a new one. But as soon as VNav gets integrated into that plane, I want to be flying it. Because for me, that's one of the most important things, VNav, because it kind of, well, makes you feel like you're flying a real Airbus then, rather than a fake one. There. We're doing pretty well right now, really. Yeah, the true airspeed 290 knots, so that's very quick. Just going to adjust the heading slightly. Perfect heading, I think, is when it's like aligned by the box. Almost, look. I think that's how you work it out. So 057 is our course. So you set 057, it's perfect, look. So 153 miles, that's going to take us 26 minutes. So quite a while it's going to take us now. Plenty of time to investigate why the avionics wouldn't turn on at the start of the flight then. I guess. Oh, I don't think I'm going to solve that mystery, honestly. Sadly, I have no other video footage of me actually flying this plane, because this is the first stream I've done on it, so I wouldn't know from that. So I'll have to watch a tutorial again to see. But I don't think it was what I did. I said, it's only been 3 weeks since I've flown this plane. It's not a long time. And there's nothing up here about avionics. Absolutely nothing. Or here. Or there. That's just cabin views. I was going to take a look at the cabin views while we're here. Cabin tour. Anybody? There we go. It's quite a nice view. And this one as well. Yeah, this is a lovely view. Hang on a minute. Does the seatbelt sign illuminate when I turn it on? Let's test that. It does! Wow. That's detail. That's cool. That's really cool, actually. There you go, that's something to entertain you on a flight. Just flick back and forth between the two. Right, actually, I didn't look at the ILS down in Bergen, so let's do that. Frequency is 109.9. Now, the course, we have no way of knowing unless we switch on to course mode, so yeah. I'll hold the plane. We'll go on to, off RNAV mode. Onto VL mode. And because we're heading in a straight line, the plane doesn't really deviate. Course needs to be set to 170. And then go back to RNAV mode now. And 109.9 is set. And finally, decision height. That is going to be, we are a Cat C, actually. I think we're a Cat B, even. That doesn't say in the remarks anymore from SimBrief. That's annoying. It used to say in the things from SimBrief, right, it's going to be Cat C then. That's the lowest, because we're definitely not Cat D, we know that. So it's going to be 370. Decision height. No, decision altitude is DA. How do you change it to DA on this thing? I don't even know how to adjust that, to be honest. Is it that button? No. Why am I so dumb? Normally it's on the altimeter, but it's not. This plane is a bit strange, actually. There's a lot of things about it that are considerably weird. Like, normally the decision height, you just change, if not in an FMC, on the altitude and the altimeter. That's normally where it would be, on the altimeter, and it's not there. Which is strange. I need to learn how to fly this plane again, don't I? Sadly, there's not many tutorials online, and the one I found was not the most useful, so... you know. Had to kind of figure out from scratch, but yeah. It turns out I know nothing. That's what's happened here. That's what I don't get. It should just be something that says decision height on it. Like, why is there's actually no button? Like, that's the bit that confuses me. It's not like I'm just being silly. There is literally nothing marked with DH on it. There's nothing So normally it'd be a little knob like this, look, you see there, that controls the altimeter. It'd normally be something like that, but no. Well, I guess we can leave it at 200, because technically the decision height is actually 204. So we could leave it at 200 and still be okay. However, that's radio. I'd like Barrow if I can get it. Oh, mate, is that it down there? That says decision height. Oh! That's how you turn on that thing! Yeah, so it was a brightness thing. Oh. That's a bit stupid, actually. So it was a brightness thing that meant that it was turned off. That is dumb. Why was it not bright in the first place? So hang a minute, if I turn that down, do all the secondary avionics turn off? No, just that one. So that might not have been while it was off then. And also, yeah, so I don't know how to switch though between decision height and decision altitude. Well, at least we figured that out. Well, there you go. We'll just set decision height then. I guess it doesn't do decision altitude. Some planes don't. Actually, that means we leave it at 200. Rip. Well, at least we found out maybe why that screen didn't illuminate. Or maybe the brightness wasn't on full. Because that does happen sometimes, but I would have thought that would be a bit strange. Also considering these ones don't have the same thing, like these don't get controlled by brightness. So that should, no, it probably wasn't that, because those screens there don't get controlled by brightness. It'd be nice if you could get a feature where when you went from one state to another, it would tell you what it did. Hang on, this is like a checklist. I've only just noticed. This is basically a checklist, look. So, battery, parking brake, gust lock, engine 2 tests. Oh, that's not really a checklist, actually. It's not massively helpful, actually. I thought it would be a proper in detail checklist. There's actually nothing there. Shame. I don't suppose Fly UK have any checklists, do they? No. I wonder whether it is something around here, look. There's nothing particularly odd about that. Because if it was a power thing, as I said, if it was an avionics power thing, everything would be off. So none of these buttons do anything. There's nothing here, look, that we didn't press, so... think one of these was actually illuminated on the ground, maybe. I wonder if it was like a battery that needed charging. I didn't check the battery charge. I don't know whether maybe that was either a thing I needed to do, or maybe something that bugged when it loaded in. Like we did leave the plane alone, didn't we, at the start for an unusually long period of time because I was waiting for the Navigraph database to load in. So maybe that's that. Who knows? Anyway, that aside, we've still. Is it just me or are we really far off course? No, we're not. I'm looking at Navigraph. We're fine on Navigraph. Just on the screen the plane's giving us, it looks like we're miles off course. Yeah. This plane, honestly. This is what makes me think, though, that it's bugs. I mean, because I have another Kenardo aircraft, the Beechcraft, and that's rubbish. It doesn't even have Navigraph database integration or anything. So it makes me believe that maybe... Because the stuff from Kenardo, one thing I have noticed with flight sim, if you're not spending £60 on a plane, it's generally not the real... It's not the full thing. Like the Aerosoft Airbus, I didn't get the professional version, so it was only £40 or £50 for the full lot. And therefore that's why some buttons aren't clickable. It's not the professional version, so you can't blame Aerosoft for that. They do a better version if you want it. But if you look at the Kenardo planes, they're all £30–40, and that might be why. Honestly, I think, because this plane was only £35–40. Compare that to the quality wings, which is double the price. The PMDG 777, double the price. 737. Not quite double, but it's a lot more. It kind of shows up. You can kind of tell how good a plane is almost by the price. And I know, you know, maybe it's not always a great indicator because something can just be overpriced. But yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a hint that maybe planes. Because I understand maybe I know this is quite an old plane, and they do have quite weird quirks sometimes, but. Well, I know for a fact that the FMC in this, I don't believe, is the one that is in the real life one. I think it's taken from the default X-Plane FMC, this one. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's where they take it from. So, because it does look a bit computer gamey. So, you know. Maybe in real life it just looks that computer gamey, it could. That's what I found weird though, is like, with the avionics not telling me at the start of the flight, I did a recall check, yeah, and nothing came back. Normally in a real aircraft, surely it would tell you that something that should be on. In fact, you can already see there are some warnings on here, look. Electric, that wasn't illuminated. Another thing about electric there, that wasn't illuminated. Audio, look, all of these things could have been illuminated, telling me, look, something's wrong. But they weren't. Not a single one was wrong. And that kind of makes me wonder that maybe it is something a little bit more of a problem. Now this flight's taking forever. Apparently we're only 200, we've actually flown 220 miles. We've flown a good bit of the way. We're only 12 minutes away from the next waypoint now. It's so cloudy though. It's just miserable. Down in Bergen it's actually not very cloudy, so that's nice. Mad. We're doing the wind. The wind doesn't die down. That's nice. That's very nice. I don't know why it's saying we're so far off course. That is weird. I think the range actually slightly changed. I didn't change anything myself, but I think the range did get changed a little bit. So maybe that's something to do with it. But I am so interested with that thing that happened at the start of the flight. Shame we got no ATC though. Right now down in Bergen, there's one plane on the ground. Hasn't got any flight plan filed or anything. It's only been online 2 minutes. So it hasn't got anything filed right now, so I don't know what's going on with that. Nothing else is heading for Bergen though, so that's that. ETA down there, probably about 40 minutes away, I suspect. It's probably how far away we are, isn't it? About 40 minutes. This stream's going to be quite short then. Only 2 hours. I thought it might be a bit longer. As in the flight. The flight's going to be an hour and 40 minutes. Like, actually, yeah. Hour and 37-minute flight time. Normally, take the block time, which was 2 hours and 1 minute today. If you take... Why is our plane tilting side to side? That was not a turbulent side to side either. I think there was a weather update, actually. Because the wind speed has suddenly changed by an amount that maybe is a little bit higher than usual. Obviously, every 5 or so minutes, Active Sky does do a weather update. And I've turned off the notifications because they're really irritating. So that could be something to factor in. Should have had no ATC today, though. I mean, I know it is quite rare at this time of day, to be fair. You're right now, we're doing alright. Kind of. Nine minutes into the next waypoint. Yeah, this is a very boring plane to fly, to be honest. The thing is, there's not a lot to do, or look at, or check. So I'm really interested with the avionics at the start of the flight, though. That's the bit I'm really, really interested in. I'm like, But again, I don't really know how to fix that particular thing. I don't know. I suspect it's still a bug. It just doesn't surprise me. That's the thing. I'm kind of totally used to that happening now, so it's kind of just not surprising. You can see that's about weather, look, so we want to get that. See, that's brightness, look, so it's probably not that that's doing it. So it wasn't brightness that made it do that at the start, because otherwise the other one would have been off as well. So it's definitely something that was in the top here. I mean, because there isn't really any other controls on this aircraft. You know, there isn't really a lot of other stuff going on outside this panel. I'll search it up actually. So like. Plane's tilting around randomly again. So I can't really find much, to be honest. I don't really see any manual anywhere. Anyway, right, 5 minutes, I can't really find much on there, 5 minutes until the next waypoint, and then it's 91 miles to Mordney. We'll be descending somewhere in that, and then obviously we'll be at 8,000 for a little bit, and then we'll be descending from there, and we need to be at 3,000 at the start of the ILS. So at Bamboo it's 3,000 or above, and then we need to be at 2,400 by Foxtrot 17 Whiskey, so that's true. That's great. That's in here. Plane on the ground in Bergen still doesn't have any flight plan. Interesting. No ATC for us at the moment, unfortunately. Doesn't look like we're going to have any today. We're just about to enter Norway control. I think this waypoint, in fact, is where we enter Norway control. Bergen. That is Norway. So, there we go. Also, by the way, the new flight sim does now have metric units as well, so that's cool. I was very happy when I saw that in the changelog for update 5. So update 5 is now out for the new flight sim. Well, that's about it, really. It's out. I think there's a few fixes in there, apparently due to autopilot or something. So I have been flying the business jets. The business jets need a lot of improvement as well. I tried flying them a couple of days ago. The default ATC is a joke, so I'll just use Vatsim next time. But again, it needs work. Also, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. We are up to 129 subscribers on the channel. I hope you guys as well. You guys do appear to be liking the iRacing content as well, so that's really good. In fact, actually, my iRacing Mazda video, I've only just noticed, has been very popular. It's had 100 views in 3 days. Thank you guys for that. Greatly appreciated. See how popular some of that stuff is. If you guys like the Mazda content, there'll be more coming, I think. I'm going to try and get some recorded today, however, so later today, in the afternoon, I'm going to try and get some recorded, however, I have got a new chair coming, so I might have to, set that up, and get it put together, so depending on how long that takes and everything, and what time it ends up being, there may not be a video tomorrow. Actually, I could just record it in the morning tomorrow, actually. So yeah, tomorrow there'll probably be an iRacing video about, Mazdas at Lime Rock Park, I think. And then we're also going to do the Michelin Pilot Challenge series as well at Laguna Seca. So those two videos, expect them before the end of the week. Obviously, I've only got today, Sunday, Monday, and then obviously Tuesday they swap over to new tracks. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I hope everybody is enjoying the iRacing stuff, as it does appear that particularly the Mazda has been very popular. I was not anticipating that. But good to see people are liking it. I wasn't even that quick at Oran Park, to be honest. I'm not very good there. I'm definitely not very good. Next week, the Mazdas, actually, I've got an iRacing schedule planner that somebody's made. iRacing week planner, it's called. I just searched, it just comes up when you search iRacing schedule. And it's actually really cool. And you can tell it which tracks you own and things. and it comes up with, like, you know, what you can do. I really like that. I think that's really cool. It's a good idea. Obviously, considering iRacing doesn't give you a lot of free stuff, does it? I always find that quite cheeky. But next week, the rookie Mazdas are at Okayama. Okay, that could be good. Obviously, Oran Park this week. I was rubbish at Oran Park. I was so rubbish. So, you know, you gotta kind of expect that. But it's been pretty good, really. I've had really good fun with the with iRacing so far. Obviously, yeah, you've got, you know, the BMW series and things as well. Right. Oh, we passed the next waypoint. I did not notice that. When did we pass that? I think we just passed it now. So 16 minutes to Modney. We want to be descending maybe 10 miles before Modney. Something like that is where we want to be descending. So that's pretty decent then. So we're descending soon-ish. We've covered a pretty fair distance in this flight, actually. I don't know how smooth the landing will be, but, you know, we'll try our best. Try my best. Once landing, we're going to be landing on runway 17, I believe. Wind down there, weather is still the same. We'll just check flight radar a minute. I'm pretty sure that we are good with that. So we'll just check Bergen. Let's have a little look. Okay, there's Bergen. Nothing is really there, I think. The last plane to landed 21 minutes ago. That's alright. However, the tracking ended a bit early, so that's not good. There's a Norwegian, the tracking on that. There was a private plane, the other one. There you go. So they're using the same runway as us, 17. That's good. Perfectly happy with that. They're definitely using 17 down there. Okay. That's alright then. But yeah, iRacing, I've been really into it. I'm glad to see you guys are enjoying the content. I hadn't really been looking. But particularly that Mazda video, I did not notice it had got 90 views. I'm very happy, actually, about that. I hope you guys are enjoying it. The Mazda, no, the tutorials I did with the new flight sim are also extremely popular. One of them now is at 1.5k views and looking to become the most popular upload, which is pretty crazy, actually. You know, obviously the one that's been there has been on top spot for quite a while, so if you guys could knock that off, that'd be pretty amazing. But it's good to see that the iRacing stuff is so popular. I thought maybe it wouldn't be massive, because obviously iRacing is not really that big of a game, a community, but, you know, I mean, if you look at iRacing, I've been looking at the people who race, and it's very frequently the same people. Very frequently, it's almost always, in fact, the same people. So it's good to see. So that was nice. It's been pretty good so far. This stream is obviously apart from the slight issues being encountered at the start. I'm just looking at our racing schedules right now, seeing what's going on. Filling the time a little bit, I guess. Right. Oh, the plane just turning suddenly. That was probably an update, like a weather update. That's most likely what that is, isn't it? Yeah, we're doing alright right now. It's been pretty good so far. Yeah, I'm glad to see the iRacing content doing well, as I said. It makes me happy, that. Right, let's start thinking about our descent then. So, probably about, as I said, probably about 10 miles before Modney. I was going to be at 8,000 at BR634. We want to stay there then until Urlob, and then from Urlob we're going to just descend down according to this thing's descent path. I'm not sure how accurate that is. We'll give it a go. We'll probably just do like a nice 1200 foot per minute descent, quite a steady kind of descent. Now, transition altitude down in Bergen, transition level, is done by ATC, so we'll do it off the altitude. The altitude is 7,000 feet. However, it doesn't really matter at the moment because the pressure down there is basically standard anyway. It's 1012 now. It was standard earlier. It's just updated. Got absolutely no cloud now. The weather's lovely. I mean, you can see below us it has sort of declouded a little bit, if that's a word. I don't think it is a word, but that's what's happened. The plane that was in Bergen's now taken off, so we've got Bergen to ourselves again. Okay. Obviously, if we're going to go direct, it's only 99 miles to Bergen. It's obviously further than that. We know that, definitely. Because we are taking a bit of a weird sort of arc into Bergen Airport. You know what? Do we have to do that? I think in real life they give you clearance straight to Napalm from BR634. So do we just do that? Because there's no other traffic. Let's do what they do in real life. Saves ourselves the time then. So I'll go direct to... Can I do that? BR634. Oh, that just adds the waypoint. That's a bit stupid. Okay. Yeah, because I don't really want to waste any more time, to be honest. There's no need. Probably save a bit of time by doing that then. So go direct from Modney and then straight in. So it's going to be... well, let's say 6,000 at BR634. That gives us plenty of time to get down to Napalm. So it's still 10 miles, look. It shows how well planned that is. So 6,000. Let's do that. Let's say 6,000. But there. And that gives us 10 miles then to drop another 2,000 feet. That sounds okay. Alright. So the new target is 6,000 at BR634. Because obviously that does, that's cut out a bit of our route then, which is good. Then there's no traffic, so there's no need for us to go wasting time. So yeah, 6,000 in 5, 16. So it's about 32 miles. 32 miles from Modney to BR634. Now in 32 miles. That probably won't be enough. That'll be about 6 minutes worth. So that's 6 minutes times 1,600 feet per minute. That's 9,600. We need 15,000. So we're going to need 8 minutes. 9 minutes. We're going to need 9 minutes, which is about 55 miles. So let's say 55 miles we're going to need. Yeah, let's say that. 55 miles. So we're going to need about 9 minutes. So 55 miles is, wow, 32, so it's 23 miles from Modney. So let's just say 20, so 20 miles from Modney, we'll start our descent to 6,000 feet, so let's get that plugged in there. And I can start vertical descent whenever I like then. 1600 feet per minute, I think. And yeah, 20 miles from Maldney. So that's not long then. It means we're quite close to our top of descent. And it's going to be quite a quick descent, 1600 feet per minute. And then it'll probably level off a little bit after BR 634. Hopefully this thing captures the glide slope. I've had issues with it before. Not capturing the glide slope, but it does occasionally happen. Even though I'm actually going to activate the frequency now. It just sometimes doesn't happen. I don't know why. Even though you do the same thing. I said, I'm not sure whether it's a bug. Canada actually has a bug list on their site, so the fact there's a bug list even implies that maybe there's quite a few. I haven't had a look at them, but yeah, that's just kind of how it is, isn't it? So I'm just going to ignore that, really. Yeah, good to see my tutorials doing well. I might do a few tutorials on iRacing, you know. I think we could do with one, definitely. We could do with a tutorial on, you know, sort of what I use for iRacing. Because I know there's a lot of people do that, and I've got, again, kind of my own things that are quite useful to do. So I think we'll make a video on that, you know? Sounds like a good idea. I'm becoming in range of an air traffic control centre. I think that's Sweden. Yeah, it's Sweden. Aww. Oh well, no ATC for us. Sweden controller online a lot more often, to be honest. I don't know why. Right, heading. We're going to set the heading round to runway heading. Just, you know, getting prepared. Right, 12 miles until descent into Bergen. So, not far to go. Because we're skipping out a lot at the start because, well, there's no traffic, basically. So in real life, they'd give you vectors and tell you to do that. That's what they do. We need to make sure we're above 9,000 at BR 637. I don't think that's going to be a problem. No, it's not going to be a problem at all, is it? I don't think you can adjust restrictions either, so if I wanted to change it, I couldn't do that either, which is a bit annoying. And then we're going to turn and then be on the ILS in plenty of time. Right, let's turn up the range on this thing, actually, so I can see a bit more. There we go, there's our waypoint coming up, look. That's not accurate. If we're 26 miles from Maldney, how is that 30 miles? Hello? Yeah, that's a bit odd. Is that a bug or is that just totally weird? That's not 30 miles, is it? Clearly. I'm suspicious. That's really weird. Well, there you go. Don't make much sense, that, do it? Never mind. Timbry thinks our top of descent should be way after Maldney. That's Timbry for you. We're meant to be passing Maldney an hour and 17 minutes into flight. I don't actually know because this thing doesn't have a clock. It does, but it doesn't allow you to like have a stopwatch, or at least the buttons don't work. I don't know. There are some buttons on there, so maybe in real life you'd have a clock. But the Coronado plane doesn't anyway. Now for descent, I haven't really worked out which power setting to use. I just keep it in cruise. Because there isn't actually a descent power. Right, okay, time to descent then. Vertical speed. Minus 1600. And then I just basically knock it back to about there. On the power, that's where I knock it back to. I tried to maintain the same speed, basically. That's what I tried to do. And there we go, down we go. Looking to maintain about 285 knots-ish. Well, even 292, that's what we were cruising at, so it's fine. But down we go, 1600 feet per minute. Quite a steady descent rate. We'll keep an eye on it, see how good of a descent rate it turns out to be. If we're a bit too early or a bit too late, I'll change that when needed. Obviously, because we are slowing down, it is one thing to keep in mind. We will obviously have to maybe reduce our descent rate a little bit later on to kind of combat that. Obviously, we want to be at 6,000, so we've got a good bit to descend, really. You know, it's not just quite a simple thing, it's quite a long way to descend. You know, it takes a good bit of time, so to get down to 18, is it by 636? No, 634, so that's the one you see appearing just there in the distance. That's where we want to be at 6,000 for, so I think we should manage that just fine. Remember, transition altitude 7,000 as well, so... And we're not allowed to be... As long as we're under 8,000, it's fine, and as long as we're above 4,000, it's fine. So I don't think we'll have a problem. And we've got to be below 220 knots as well, true airspeed, at that waypoint as well. However, obviously, that shouldn't be an issue, because this thing starts to slow down as you get a bit lower anyway, so it's kind of... You know, that's just kind of normal. Now, I started descending like 2 or 3 minutes from Modney, and we've already descended 4,000 feet, so maybe I started descending a bit early. I don't know. I think I might have started descending too early. Also, I think our ground speed hasn't really dropped, so that shouldn't really matter. But I don't know. I don't know whether maybe that's what's happened there. We've only got 16 miles to cover, though. That's the thing. We haven't got long to cover every time. What's that there? Is that... That's the airport, look. So I'm going to turn down the range now so I can see a bit better what I'm doing on the arrival. I think maybe we could have got away with 10 miles from Modney, to be honest. I think we're a bit early on the descent. Because we've got 10,000 feet to drop. Oh, we're actually going through some clouds now. There's some high-level clouds. Not as high level as the ones in the new flight sim. Also, the new flight sim, though, the weather model in it is so bad. Like, seriously, it's terrible. I was dropping through... Like, I was taking off from Brussels, and I checked the METAR. It said clouds were scattered at 2,000. At 25,000 feet, it was still thick cloud. It's a joke. The weather system in the new sim. Weirdly, Active Sky is able to connect to the new flight sim because it uses the same systems as FSX, but I don't know whether it works. That'd be interesting to find out, maybe. Right, 2 minutes to the next waypoint. Okay, I think we're alright. I think we're going to be timing this pretty well. We'll have a little look later on about what's going on. We'll see. It's a cool plane, this, though. You know, it is fun to fly. So the little avionics issue at the start, I mean, again, we can't just... You know, flick it over to taxi state and be done with it, but I would like to fly it myself, obviously. It's kind of the aim of this. If I wanted to, if I was that sort of simmer, I would literally spawn in, ready for takeoff, use speed, you know, use time compression, and then land. That's what I'd do if I was that kind of simmer. I'm not, so, you know. Also, I think we can just see at the edges of Norway. Norway is one of the most beautiful looking places, I think, in FSX. By default, obviously all the islands and the snowiness that FSX does. It's one thing that FSX does great is the textures on the ground per season and things. Like, they're not the most beautiful looking, but they're very accurate with... It kind of almost knows where it snows and where it's quite cool. It does look cool. Now, our ground speed hasn't really dropped that much, so that is good, as I said before. I will start to slow down a bit more later now, because of course at 10,000 feet we do need to be below 250 knots. That is still a restriction, it does still apply to small little planes like us. Obviously when climbing it doesn't really affect us because this thing is such a slow climber, but when descending we're alright. So we'll see what happens. There it is, look, BR 634. And we need to be above 9,000 at BR 637, which is this waypoint here. That's where we need to be above 9,000. So we're safely above 9,000, so no problem with there. I think we may be a little bit too high, you know, and a little bit too low, I mean. So I think we could have gone a little bit further. I forget, obviously, you do slow down as you start ascending, and maybe the ETAs on that thing maybe aren't the most accurate, I don't know. But we've got to be at 4,000 at Modney. I want to be... No, not Modney, so Nepam. Nepam. I want to be at 4,000, because that gives us the best chance then of descending a bit earlier in time for the ILS. I'm going to be at 220 knots as well, remember, at BR 634, 220 knots, so that's, you know, quite slow. Yeah, I think we're a little bit too high, aren't we? So I'm going to knock back the descent rate now to allow us to slow down. So I'm going to knock it back to 1400 feet per minute, and that should allow us to start to slow down a little touch as well. And obviously that's kind of what we want, isn't it? We want to be able to just slow down just a little bit. Right, seatbelt signs on. And we should start to see the speed drop naturally. I'm going to put it into 1,000 feet per minute now. Now, we've got auto brakes on this thing. I don't believe we have. No, that's anti-skid. We don't have auto brakes, so manual braking. We have reverses in this plane at least. So we're basically using the vertical speed to drop speed without having to really do anything. Because that's kind of how I want it. Obviously, we're a little bit too high, so it kind of fits in as well. There we go, safely dropping speed. Maybe not the nicest thing in the world to drop speed like this. It's like, oh no, I'm going slower. But yeah, you have to. Right, line lights on as well. And you can see that we're basically at 250 knots. We're slightly too quick. Actually, we haven't passed 10 today. We've passed 10,000 as soon as the 10 disappears. There we go. So yeah, you can see about 10 knots too quick. That's slowly fixing itself. And we're gonna basically reduce the power and then go back to 1200 feet per minute on there. And we're gonna basically just go totally idle power now to help this thing slow down. There we go, we're totally idle, so we've just gone totally 100% idle to help this thing reduce its speed to about 245 knots. What we're probably looking for is to reduce the range once again. I think we've timed this pretty well, actually. I think we're just going to be... Maybe that bit slower descent actually put us a bit too high again. I don't know. It depends on how far we are from 634 up here. Right, 1,600 feet per minute. Can't handle any more than that, otherwise we just overspeed. Yeah, we're alright. We're going to reach, I think, we're just going to hit 6,000 again. As long as we're under 8,000, it doesn't actually matter. And we can go down to 4,000 now anyway, so we'll go down to 4,000. I need to be below 220 knots as well, remember that. So I'm going to try and do that, but obviously it might be quite difficult to do so. You can see they're basically just skipping out most of the star now because, well, it saves us an awful lot of time. Instead of just sitting here at 8,000, we can actually try. But you can see there, look, we pretty much timed this perfectly. We're going to be just hitting 6,000, and then we want to be at 4,000 NEPAM. I'm going to start to pull back the rate of descent now as well, because I want to obviously slow down in time. I want to get to, obviously right now it's basically impossible for us to get to 220 knots. It is literally impossible, so something to keep in mind. But there you go, we're slowly slowing down so that we're enough below that 220 knots almost. Whoa, this looks cool. This actually looks really nice. With like the little bit of cloud as well. I don't know what it is with active sky and forming clouds directly in front of you. It does that. But yeah, Bergen is a lovely looking airport, the scenery around here. I loved it when Fly UK had their Nordic Sky 737-700s based around here. Sadly, those got moved over to America and they got replaced by Embraer E195, which unfortunately there isn't a decent one for FSX. There's only one. I think it's the virtual coal one, and it looks shocking. It looks like a default aircraft. It probably is. Right, just set B now. Set the pressure. But it's apparently now 1011. Is that true? No, it's not. It's 2088. The pressure. 2988 1012. Okay, 1012 set. And down we go. And we have slowed down enough now. We're below that 220 knots. That important 220 knots that we needed to be below. And we're now just going to go 1,000 feet per minute. Nice and slow. Actually, you know what? 1,200. Let's go 1,200 feet. And introduce a little bit of power back to the plane. Not a lot. Just a teeny bit. And there we go. Slowly descending into Bergen. We should be able to see the airport soon. It's not the most accurate of scenery. Sadly, but there we go. Now, actually, on the 4th of September, the approach frequency... No, the mist... Oh, no, that's alright, we're alright. I thought they changed the bearings of the ILS, they haven't. I noticed the runway bearings had changed, I assume they would have done the same with the approach, they didn't. At least according to the chart anyway, when you look at the changes, it doesn't say that. Right, 5 miles away from Nepam, and we are pretty much perfect, actually. We're a little bit too early, however, as I said, I kind of want to be like that, so we can get the most possible descent out of the plane later. When it comes to our approach, obviously we need to be at 3,000 or above at Bablu, and that's why we want to be intercepting the ILS, really. Also want to start slowing down a touch as well. Obviously, remember, we need to go, let's go about 200 knots now. Obviously, you know, no auto throttle on this thing. I'm the auto throttle. Right, 3 miles until Nepam. There we go. Here's the lovely scenery of Bergen coming into view. Hopefully this will be a smoothish landing. I don't know how good it will be. Weather is 150 at 7 knots, so it's not too strong, the wind. The wind's currently 16 knots though, so I'm not sure how much I believe. However, it will be mostly a headwind. It's 150 at 7 knots, so it's very nice for us. Right, there we go. We've passed that waypoint there, which was called Nepam, and then we're going to start to descend further now. 1,000 feet per minute now, just a nice slow descent down to 3,000. And we can start to arm the approach. Now the thing is with this plane, when you arm approach, it disables the other form of navigation. You can't have both going at the same time, which I know is a bit annoying, but that's just the technology of this plane. Live with it, I guess. And taxiing into Bergen, we're going to take stand 26, I think. You know what, 24. Let's take 24. There we go. Okay, this thing is descending nicely now. And we're safely at 3,000. And then we want to be at 2,400 then. So we're just going to go straight down to 2,400. And that's where the start of the glide slope is, apparently. And so we're just hitting 3,000 just as soon as we passing that waypoint, and then we've gone on to the next waypoint now. This is now the ILS. And this is where now, this is kind of a bit weird now. I've got to switch over, look, to this mode and then click approach. And there we go, great. We have got the localizer and the glide slope checked, which is good. And there you go, we have now captured the localizer. We're still waiting on the glide slope though. For now, this thing is just managing its descent rate kind of quite sensibly. Hopefully it's just going to go down to 2,400 and then just stay there. That's its plan, I think. There you go, you can see there from the purple thing, that's its plan. For vertical speed, we're going to start increasing the speed. Actually, no, never mind, don't increase the speed. We're good. I thought we were going to be going a bit slower than we actually are. Right, flaps 15. That's going to start the slowdown for landing. About, I assume, 120, 130 knots landing speed. You know, it's obviously not a big, massive plane, so it doesn't need to be going that quickly. And flaps full. And gear down, because we are now on approach. We're on the glide slope, we're on the localizer. And there we go. No, we don't set a go around altitude in this plane. And we can, actually, don't mind. Didn't think we could. Go around altitude here is 3,000. So set that, and this thing is hopefully, yep, on the glide slope. We're just waiting to capture it. Actually, it's still starred, so we're just waiting for that. Still starred. That's weird. We've hit 2,400, look. So now this thing is leveling off a bit more. We look a bit higher to me, but apparently the glide slope is only just here. Look. There you go. We've captured it now. I think we've captured it. Yeah, we have, because we descended below 2,400. Been bumped around a teeny bit. This weather's a bit stronger than 7 knots, to be fair. It's 10 knots. It's not a lot, actually. It's alright. Right, and we're 7 miles out from Bergen, so we're going to give it... Oh, we're going a bit slow here. I didn't realise that. We are going a little bit too slowly. That's not good, is it? I did not go full power though, so I have no idea what that was about. Yeah, we were going a little bit too quickly. I don't know why the plane has decided to fix that by pitching up. That's a bit of a stupid idea. It's because we were below glide slope. I think we were falling out of the sky a teeny bit there. We didn't get a stall warning at 90 knots. I don't know, I'm positive we should have got one. But we didn't, so we move on. And there you go, we're now safely on the localised around the glide slope properly this time. I think we're way too high. I don't know, it always looks like you're too high in this plane, then you're not. It's kind of one thing that's kind of a bit interesting about this plane. That is how it looks. Obviously no auto brakes in this plane, as I said earlier. Right, time to start descending down the glide slope properly this time. There. Whoa! And it's doing, I don't know, that looks like more than 500 feet per minute from where I am. Here in this cockpit. Never mind. I think we're going to turn off the autopilot now. There we go. Airplane's mine. Just going to follow the glide slope now, basically. Increase the speed a little bit. We're a little bit high on the glide slope now. We'll just do it off the pappy lights, to be honest, because this glide slope doesn't seem to know much, does it? Hasn't been particularly useful. This plane hasn't followed it particularly well. It was like too high, too low, too high, too low. That's what it was doing.
1,000.
Just not useful. We're catching back up to it now, as you can see the pappy lights going a bit of a better colour. And then we're too high again, so let's keep it up. We're 3 miles out and we're at 1,000 feet. I think that's okay. So we did catch the glide slope correctly this time. It doesn't always do that. So that's good to see. There we go. 2 white, 2 red. That means we are okay on the glide slope. I want to slow down a little bit, actually, going a little bit too quickly. It looks like we're like absolutely just sending it down. We're only doing 700 feet per minute, which is not a massive amount.
500.
Obviously, the ground is going to come much closer to us now.
300.
Right on the edge of some sea, Bergen. There we go. We're perfect now. Right, let's go idle power now, because we're going a little bit too quick. Well, not really, actually. I think we're alright.
100.
I don't think we're too high, either. With the pappy lights, again, you can't really take notice of them after a certain altitude.
50. 40.
And then we'll try a level off. Now.
10.
There we go, 210 FPM. That's not bad, is it? Right, reverse is out. I'm going to start slowing down. And there we go. Flaps in as well. There we go. Hello and welcome everybody to Bergen. That was a pretty good landing, actually. We're going to vacate here on Charlie, which is totally in the wrong place. And there we go. We're here. It's quite a nice little flight, isn't it, that is? Right. Taxiing somewhere over there, we should see our ground services. We're going to go right to the inside, which is going to be Whiskey, I think. Yeah, we're going to go right to Whiskey. Right, landing lights off, taxi lights on. No APU, actually. No, we'll leave the taxi lights off, actually, because we're going to be coming to the gate quite soon. Don't want to be blinding the gate agents, of course. Fuel damper can come off, I guess. And, right, let's get ourselves over to the gate then, which should be somewhere over there. You know what? I'm going to change. I thought we were going to go further on the runway than that. I'm going to go gate 28. I thought we were going to be taxiing from a different part of the airport, possibly. So gate 28. Somehow there's now a third option for ground services. I don't know how. There was only 2 options before. That's a bit strange. And there you go. They're obviously not going to be using the jet bridge, I don't assume, are we? There's actually something else on the ground here. There's a Lufthansa. I don't see a Lufthansa here. Are you sure? Oh, it's just taking off. Wow, I did not see that. Good job that person looked. I didn't notice them. And they go, away they go. They haven't actually got a flight plan, so I don't know where they're going. And our gate should be this one here. Not this one. Yeah, not that one. That's 27. 28. This one here. They go, we'll just taxi ourselves onto the stand. There's no jet bridge for the stand, actually. Actually, I think that needs a jet bridge for our stand, so... Obviously, this thing has its own stairs, so we haven't got to worry about that. I doubt a jet bridge is able to connect to this thing, right? Oh no, the jet bridge is for that stand, so yeah, this stand doesn't have a jet bridge, that's fine. Oh, that's not on the mark. I assume GSX wants to go further. Yeah, it does. Okay. Fine. I was used to looking out the window because of the new flight sim obviously doesn't have ground services like this. There we go. Stop the parking brakes, and there we go. Cut the power. And Shift E just get all the doors open. And there we are. Hello and welcome everybody to Bergen. Bit of a rough start to the stream with the avionics not working, but they're all working now, thanks to a little thing that you can do inside the plane. Stupid, I don't know what's going on with them. Right, yeah, no jet bridge for us. It's going to be stairs, and there we are. Why are the numbers still there when the marshal has walked off? Is that not a bit weird? I'm pretty sure those numbers aren't supposed to... Mate, you've left your numbers behind. Oh well. Thank you. I hope everybody did enjoy the stream. As always, there's also video content on iRacing. Thank you guys who have been watching the iRacing content, particularly the Mazdas at Oran Park, as I said, very popular. Thank you for that. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this stream, and I will see you in the next one. I'm not sure how much more stream I'm going to do. I want to do something different with flight simming really now. Has reached a point where this game is just too outdated, FSX. But the new flight sim hasn't quite got there. It's kind of a weird thing. The new flight sim, in my opinion, has messed up flight sims totally. Because it's left me thinking, well, hang on a minute. I want to play FSX because it's better. But I want to play the new flight sim because it looks amazing. It's like, oh, which one do I do? It's difficult. But there you go. Hope everybody really enjoyed this stream. As always, I will be looking out for new updates of the fly-by-wire A320 mod, of course, because, you know, I am quite interested in that project, seeing what happens with it. None of the other projects, like the Sortie Simulation 747 or the Hangar 9 787, neither of them have really had any updates at all. So, I think the A320 is the only one that's really alive. But there you go, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this. I'll leave you with the end screen and the background music. Bye-bye!